So what we're looking at is Spyro, Reignited trilogy here. This was, if you're not in the knowledge, a reimagined, like a remaster basically, because they didn't change any scene main. They only changed like the graphics of the main scene and redid all the character models and everything. So, if we were gonna look, we should do. I wanted to play through Spyro the Dragon and might as well record it some and see what happens. Since I never fully finished Spyro the Dragon despite finishing Spyro 2 and Spyro 3. For the most part, not 100%, but getting the main story and everything done with, and most of the objective, even optional stuff, a lot of it. But no, let's...
Okay, rolling.
See.
It's been peaceful here in the 5 worlds, or is it 6? For a dragon's age. We now have 12,000 treasure, or is it 14,000?
What about this Ganasty Ganok character? Now, I understand he's found a magic spell to turn gems into warriors for his cause.
I'll take that question.
So they do give an explanation for why you get gems for defeating enemies here in the beginning. Because enemies were made from the gems.
And is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom. No threat! Besides, he is ugly.
But yeah, the opening is, even in the original, was pretty much this, but this is a lot more fancy done. They made the opening a lot more, cinematic in this. A lot more, appealing to look at and such.
Looks like I've got some things to do.
And they also gave Spyro some more confidence, I'm pretty sure, from the little bit I've seen of the original games. Like the intro cutscene. But no, it's the same exact cutscenes, they just changed things up slightly here and there and made them more modern and all that. But yeah, in this game, the big objective, though, is to rescue dragons. There's some dragon eggs, of course, but Spyro 3 would be where they'd have a whole bunch of dragon eggs. They only have a small amount in this game compared to... But no, this game, it's getting the dragons on the pedestals. Just interact with them to get them free. And collecting a lot of gems is the other part.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the artisan world, then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Nasty Nork? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
But yeah, no, so in the hub worlds, I always like to get as much done as possible when I first enter one. I like to play it. And the enemies in the first area of the first game are, of course, pretty simplistic. But unlike in future games, there's not nearly as many abilities. Spyro has very limited abilities in this game. He can breathe fire, he can headbutt enemies, and that's like the main things you have. And glide, jump and glide. But no, there isn't much to say about it. Enjoy just getting gems and all that shit. I do like the design of the levels I've played in this game. I've never completed this fully, but I got pretty far. I got like halfway about in the previous playthrough. The whole game, pretty sure I got through most of the first 3 hub worlds. And just making sure you get all the gems. And dragons out, she's married again. Now, the Reimagined trilogy, though, they added this ability of Sparkstow especially. He can point to gems. No, it's right there. You you just hit the left analog stick, tap it down. Which is something that was only first brought in the third game. And you had to unlock it near the midway point, up to the middle of the game, so. But in the Reimagined trilogy, they gave you all the, spots,
Cool,
pointing
Flash.
those.
Do that again.
The artisan's boss is through a portal in the dragon mouth, but you're not yet ready, Spyro. First, you must complete one of the other artisan lands.
Yeah, progression is a little bit more off, like it's more vague sometimes in this game, I think. But I do think, basically, like they do hint at it like that if you explore this area, that you have to complete several worlds in order to progress. So it is relatively easy going and beginner friendly. Like, I think especially this game is like very friendly to people who aren't that much into platformers at the time. It's like one of the earlier ones, it's still quite friendly overall.
Where's Nasty Nork? I'll torch him.
And Spyro's excited
Keep
to
your
hurt
horns
him.
on, Spyro. You have much to learn first. Do you know what the dragonfly following you is doing?
His name is Sparks, and he's helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him and see what I mean.
Yeah, of course, the dragons are relatively easy to... The dragons are relatively easy to see because they're on a pedestal until you save them. And you can always repeat the lines they say. If you forget them. Because some of them do have relatively helpful tips, but not... A lot of them are pretty generic. Now let's get this guy's money. There we got gems. Yeah, there's 100 in this realm and 4 dragons. And the hub worlds are like, levels are like, they each have a count of stuff. And the levels are encountered by going to those portals like over here. Stone Hill would be a level and we'll do that soon, but trying to get my items. Because I always like to go through every scene in a level like this. Since this game you can pretty much, as far as I'm aware, complete every scene in a level the first go ahead. You don't have to go backtrack, which is both a positive and negative.
Press the jump button twice to glide. And
No tutorial here if you don't know it.
Afraid of what?
falling from high mountain peaks, plummeting into prehistoric glaciers.
Oh, that.
Yeah, that's all the dragons found. Something else to note about the Reimagined trilogy is that they really did make the graphics stunning compared to what they originally were. And it's hard to argue against any of the changes they made to the graphics, especially. And the models and all. Yeah, it's hard to argue. I have a car sometimes, I'm getting a drink sometimes. Now it's time to get this guy. Now soundtracks, apparently they change the soundtracks quite a bit in some cases, so I can understand people not liking the remixes maybe, because people can be very particular sometimes about the music. But no, the dragon, it's called just the Artisans, this first world. This game has multiple hub worlds after all. Town squares in our level do. Gonna get all the gems. No, but I just really wanted to play through this finally once and for all completion. After going through a bunch of Spyro games, I've never completed this one. I never even got to like the final boss ever. I've played the final boss in multiple other Spyro games at this point, even some not so great ones. So I think I owe it to Spyro 1, and maybe record it for once just to go through it since I am able to. There's apparently a skill point required. Which skill points, like optional things, they snuck into this version. A reach tricky platform. Yeah, I just got that jump perfectly on the first attempt. It's a little bit of a tricky one if I remember. And then we do it. Now I think it's time for the first level pretty quick. Stone Hill. Yeah, it gives you all the treasures you've collected whenever you exit a world, which includes the hub world. I mean, Artisans is a decent starter hub world. It's not anything complicated, it's just a simple, simplistic one that gives you a basic tutorial or two over your movement and everything, some tutorials. Loading times can be a little long sometimes. It's because I'm using a hard drive and not my solid state drives for this game, just for space reasons. Here's a look at something. But the thing is, the first level we'll go to is a Stone Hill. It has 200 gems, 4 dragons, and a dragon egg. One single dragon egg. Because you do collect some dragon eggs in this game, but they're not like the main, they're not the biggest focus of it. As well as I'm aware, unless they're born filming. And yeah, it's like the first world is here. But no, let's go now. Yeah, even on PC, you know, because of the hard drive I use to store a lot of games on, it can take a little bit of time loading, that's why. But on consoles, you'd probably get an even longer load time, arguably a little bit, like an extra few more seconds, but very easily, boy. on the original console. I don't know if they've updated it for the new consoles. You know, the Xbox Series X and PS5. I don't know if they've gone updates. I don't believe they've gone updates for this game, but they could have always gone it sometime recently. I don't know, I don't have any of them, so... Who was this? But regardless, this was available. You know, this game is on the Nintendo Switch, the PS4, the Xbox One, those consoles, as well as the PC. All these gems. Yeah, early levels in Spyro can be pretty generous, was making it quite simple to get stuff. Here's Linda.
When you free a dragon or step on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress. That could be useful if you run into trouble. Not that you ever run into trouble.
And I do like the little jabs of humor they have. So these. Yeah, these give you a little save point, like where you'll respawn when you die specifically, if you lose a life. The common things throughout the series, so... Oh, yeah, this is a hidden one. You always go into the will. Always try to explore. Exploration is a lot of times important in these. But yeah. Oh, we need a key, right? This game does keys. I'm pretty sure Spyro 2 does not do the key chest, but Spyro 3 brings them back. And other games will have keys. Here's Gavin. Good old Gavin.
Watch the dragonfly, Spyro. His color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong, like me.
Yeah.
Sure.
So this is basically your health. On yellow, like when it's golden yellow color, full health. He takes a hit, he goes blue. 2 hits, he goes to green, and then finally you lose him, and then you die if you get hit. Yeah, for the 1990s, it was a pretty creative health bar, without having a bar on the screen anywhere. You just have the Firefly do it and also get gems for you. It's a very nice idea for what it's worth. Yeah, those chests, some chests you have to run into like that, because your flame won't work, but some chests allow both. Like this one you can run into, but you can also freeze flame on, as you've seen. Right here. But no, the earlier levels are pretty simple, and I really do like some simplicity at times, even though I do like it when the challenge starts amping up in these games as well. Now, early levels, though, are pretty simplistic in what they expect you to do. At the end of the day, platforming games are more meant for children, for the most part. Be very accessible for children, though they do have to keep things pretty simple overall, especially in earlier parts. So can ramp up the difficulty from there somewhat. But I do think the Spyro games usually offer a slightly better challenge than maybe Mario games in general. At least for getting to the end of the game. For the most part, on average. Especially when you compare it to the new Super Mario Bros. Series and such. Now we have to get some more gems, find a way onto that structure. That's an extra life for those clams. Here's another dragon. Master.
After you've freed all the dragons, pass through this fancy vortex thingamajigger. It'll take you back to the artisan home. But first, let me tell you a story.
No thanks. See ya.
But as far as return home stuff goes, yeah, it's actually something cool about the Spyro series. Is that they do sort of, in this game, they have like these simple vortexes that bring you up to the Artisan World again, or whatever hub world you're in from the level, exit level. Well, Spyro 2 and 3 use the same doorway. They use an actual portal door, like the one you get into the level from. But yeah, usually about where people would be pretty far along in the level, they add these things in somewhere. Spyro 1 being the most basic, where it's just there. Sometimes doesn't have to reappear from something. Oh, there's a key for that chest we saw earlier. Man, a lot of levels they do that. I don't know if they're very level, but for a lot of them they do the locked chest. The locked chest is a common idea. And those chests contain gems in this game. But no, Spyro 1, you know, the gameplay is very much the same as the PS1, practically speaking. It's just on a PS4, Xbox One, whatever system. Because Spyro is not exclusive in the modern age. And on Switch as well, if you have that. And just enjoying a breeze through this game. Just the beginning's going to be a very easy breeze since I'm pretty used to Spyro now compared to my first ever playthrough of it. Good. Just need to figure out how to get up there. That's the thing. I usually take time, like finding everything. I sometimes try to figure out how to get up on stuff and have limited success sometimes. It's been a while since I played to this level. The way up should be relatively simple. But yeah, no, seriously. No, Spyro plays it's a very intuitive game, Spyro 1 specifically. As you can see, you're just running into a breezing fire on enemies to get gems and other types of things, and platforming things, and platforming across. I need to get up there. I'm trying to figure out how you get up there. But that's the problem when doing this after not playing for all day. You can be lost a little. But let's do the chest since I remember it being down here. They sometimes don't give that many gems though, as you saw. This world only has 200 total. There is a way up there though, I know. You figure it out. You just have to, like, things aren't always 100% intuitive like this, but there is a way up there. It's obvious. Probably it's just not able to think of it at the moment, how to get on the cliffs. Yeah, it's like when I'm out of practice though, I feel like I'm missing something obvious though. That's the thing. Spyro 1 especially because you have limited movements. They do kind of sometimes acquire tricks to get above stuff. A lot of things involving your glide ability, some tricky way. Oh. Yeah, it's a portal in here. Somehow missed that.
Spyro, my friend, how about a hint on
Yeah,
gliding?
gliding tutorial.
For the longest glide, press the jump button at the top of your jump, and try pressing the action button to drop down mid-flight.
Right now it's time to go on the actual... So, in Spyro 1 it's very common to have these invisible barriers. It's just an unfortunate consequence of having an open field like this sometimes. But, you know. It's whatever. Now let's get the gems and such remaining in the dragon egg. I mean, it was my fault for not seeing that obvious entrance. Being used to like other things sometimes do a trick. With egg thieves, you do have to find ways to cut them on edges and get the egg. I'm trying to cut corners here. That's the best trick for catching them, but like only in a few places do you find egg seeds. Like the hub world didn't have one, but this level does. A lot of times you have to breathe fire. You're not gonna really run into them. There's the egg. No, otherwise, let's get the last of the gems and we're out of invisible barrier, of course. Of course, Fox is not the most helpful at the end of the day with gems. It gives you a general guide sometimes, but slightly luck-based will help you find a gem or not. No, but in Spyro 1 and 2 when I played them, however much I played, I never figured out the Spark single Spyro 3 was a thing. But no, Spyro 1 is very friendly and like is one of the more simplistic games in the series, definitely. The Game Boy Advance game, like the first one of the Game Boy Advance games, Spyro Season of Ice, definitely also was very simplistic. Basically having Spyro have the same abilities as he does in this game for the most part, and that's it. Where's the last 10 gems? This is why, again, everything can be as time consuming because you'll retrace your steps a lot of times to get them. You have to really look over. See if you missed anything. We have 4 more gems. So oh, there's another gem. Go in this box, it's around here. There it is. This box definitely helps though. You're like missing some gems. And you like what's those? That's it, now it's time to go to the exit portal. Conveniently located over here. Yeah. Oh, Nate. So yeah, we did the guidebook is very helpful in this game, especially because you can travel anywhere. I don't think that was a feature as easily accessible in the original PS1 games. Oh, I can already enter the boss of this world. Like, at least in this, I think sometimes they are pretty generous when you face the bosses. Partially, I think it's partially because the boss fights in this game are not the most, somewhat lacking, if you will. For lack of a better word, they are lacking to some extent. But besides this, though, I'd say that's enough for now. And we'll end it here.